You are probably standing in the vacuum aisle right now, or maybe you have 12 tabs open on your browser, toggling between a Hoover WindTunnel and a Shark Navigator. It is the classic standoff. Let me be clear about what is happening here. This isn't just a choice between two plastic machines. It is a choice between two very different philosophies of cleaning. If you're trying to decide where to put your money, you need to look past the horsepower claims and look at how these things actually live in your house. Overall cleaning performance. Let's start with the only thing that really matters. Does it pick up the dirt? If you look at the raw numbers, Hoover often brings a lot of power to the table. They use large motors that generate plenty of suction at the hose. On a standard low-pile carpet, a Hoover WindTunnel will vibrate the fibers and pull up dirt reliably. It is a brute force approach, and honestly, for simple carpets, it works fine. You run it over the rug, the lines appear, and the bin fills up. It feels effective because it is loud and heavy, which our brains associate with power. However, Shark has completely outpaced Hoover when it comes to the actual mechanics of cleaning different surfaces. The difference is in the cleaner head. Most modern Shark uprights use what they call duo clean or a similar dual brush system. They have a soft roller at the front that grabs large debris, like Cheerios or piles of dog food, and polishes hard floors, while a standard bristled roller behind it digs into carpets. Hoover typically uses a standard bristle bar with a plastic gate in front of it. Here is the problem with the Hoover design. That plastic gate pushes large debris around on hard floors instead of picking it up. You end up snow plowing dirt across your kitchen rather than vacuuming it.
Design and versatility. This is where the gap between the two brands really widens. Hoover designs feel traditional. They are often bulky, the weight is centered low near the floor, and they handle like a shopping cart. They are stable, sure, but they aren't agile. If you need to turn on a dime or get under a low coffee table, a Hoover often fights you. The body is just too thick, and the turning radius is stiff. They are built for long, straight passes in big, empty rooms. Shark, on the other hand, pioneered the lift-away design, and it changes everything. With the push of a single button, you can detach the canister motor unit from the floor nozzle, turning your upright vacuum into a portable canister that you can carry with one hand. This sounds like a gimmick until you have to clean stairs. With a Hoover, you are balancing a heavy machine on a step or wrestling with a hose that isn't quite long enough, hoping the vacuum doesn't tip over and fall on you. With a Shark lift-away, you just pop the pot off, walk up the stairs carrying it like a lunchbox, and clean comfortably. It is a smarter way to interact with a heavy appliance. There is also the matter of weight distribution. Shark vacuums tend to be slightly top-heavy compared to traditional Hoovers, but they usually feature swivel steering that is incredibly fluid. You can twist your wrist and the vacuum head darts around a chair leg. Hoover has tried to copy this in their newer models, but it often feels stiffer and less responsive. Using a Shark feels like driving a modern sedan. Using a Hoover often feels like driving a truck without power steering. It gets the job done, but you are going to feel it in your arm after 20 minutes.
Filtration and allergy features. If you have allergies or if you just hate the smell of dust when you vacuum, pay attention here. This is the single biggest technical advantage Shark holds over Hoover in the mid-range market. Shark aggressively markets what they call anti-allergen complete seal technology. It sounds like marketing fluff, but it is a legitimate engineering standard. It means the entire vacuum is sealed with rubber gaskets, from the floor nozzle to the bin to the exhaust filter. Air goes in, passes through a HEPA filter, and clean air comes out. Nothing leaks from the seams. Hoover is much more hit or miss with this. While many Hoover models claim to use HEPA media filters, the machines themselves are not always perfectly sealed. You can have the best filter in the world, but if the dirty air bypasses it and leaks out through the cracks in the plastic casing, the filter is useless. In independent tests, particularly fog tests where smoke is pumped through the vacuum, cheaper Hoovers often leak fine particulate matter back into the room. Shark units, even the mid-range ones like the Navigator and Rotator, typically score almost perfect zero-emission ratings. If you are sensitive to dust, Shark is the only responsible choice here unless you are buying a high-end commercial Hoover, which most homeowners are not. Build, reliability, and lifespan. This is where the conversation gets tricky. Historically, Hoover was the king of durability. You bought a Hoover and you gave it to your kids 20 years later. That era is effectively over. Modern Hoovers are mass-produced plastic machines just like everything else. They are decent, but they feel hollow. The plastic can be brittle, and the fit and finish often leave large panel gaps. They feel built to a budget. Shark has a different reliability profile. They feel denser and more premium in the hand. The clicks are sharper, the materials feel thicker. In the first 3 to 5 years, a Shark generally holds up better and feels like a higher quality product. But here's the catch. Shark vacuums are notoriously difficult to repair. They don't sell internal replacement parts easily. If the motor in your Shark floor head dies after the warranty expires, you often can't just buy a new motor. You have to buy a whole new floor nozzle, which costs nearly as much as the vacuum. They are effectively disposable appliances. When they break, they are trash. Hoover, despite the drop in build quality, maintains a slightly better ecosystem for repairs in terms of third-party parts. Because the designs haven't changed radically in years, you can often find belts, filters, and even motors for older Hoover models fairly easily. If you are the type of person who likes to tinker and fix things to keep them running for a decade, Hoover offers a slightly better path. But if you are the type of person who just wants the thing to work perfectly for 5 years and then you'll buy a new one, Shark is the more reliable experience during that lifespan. Price and value. Finally, we have to talk about your wallet. Hoover almost always wins on sticker price. You can walk into a Walmart and pick up a full-sized Hoover WindTunnel for significantly less than the cheapest Shark Navigator. If your budget is tight, under $150, Hoover owns that space. You get a working, powerful vacuum that cleans your carpets effectively for a very low entry cost. It is a high-value proposition for a first apartment or a student rental. Shark positions itself in the mid to high tier, usually between $200 and $400. You are paying a premium, but the value calculation is incredibly strong. For that extra money, you are getting the sealed filtration, the lift-away versatility, the better hard floor cleaning, and the self-cleaning brush rolls. It is a classic case of buy nice or buy twice. If you buy the cheap Hoover, you might find yourself frustrated by the scattered litter or the dust smell within a year, wishing you had upgraded. Shark sits in that sweet spot where you get 90% of the performance of a $700 Dyson or Miele for half the price. It is widely considered the best bang for your buck in the entire vacuum industry right now. Conclusion. Bottom line, here's how you should decide. If you have a home with mostly wall-to-wall carpet, you are on a strict budget, and you don't care about bells and whistles, get the Hoover. It is a simple, honest machine that will pull dirt out of your rugs without complicating your life. It's the pickup truck of vacuums, unrefined but keepable. But for almost everyone else, the Shark is the better buy. If you have hardwood floors, pets, stairs, or anyone in the house with allergies, the Shark's sealed system and duo clean head are non-negotiable upgrades. The ability to lift the canister away to clean furniture and the fact that it doesn't scatter crumbs across your kitchen floor makes the daily chore of cleaning significantly less frustrating. It is a smarter, more modern tool that justifies the higher price tag every time you turn it on.